Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is for those people who have their natal Mars in the 6th house, which is the workplace. It's your health and your daily schedule. It can be pets. So Mars is our drive. It's what motivates us to do things. It has different keywords like anger, how we express anger. Mars can be it's the god of war, so it's connected to conflict in our lives. So, whatever house that Mars is in, it may be an area that sees more conflict than other areas. And the 6th house, as I stated, is this house of the service that we provide to others. And it can be our coworkers as well. This is considered a house that weakens Mars because it's a mental house. Now, this is probably because Mars, well, they said it's because Mars is an active energy, and the 6th house is a mental house, so it's more passive and inactive in the physical sense of the word, at least. And so it's not, fully able to do its thing in the 6th house. But one of the things that I didn't quite understand is why they said that there is, that the person may not have, that they may have a lack of energy. And they said to accomplish your goals, to be, to even, dream and have these goals and things like that. And I don't really understand why that would be the case, because Mars is very ambitious, and the 6th house does deal with the work that you're doing. So I would think that there would be a definite connection in the opposite sort of way, that this person would have a lot of energy. So it's possible that if I read other sites that it would give conflicting information. This is the site that I went to is advancedastrology.com. So I would take that one with a grain of salt. That doesn't sound right to me. You may definitely clash with coworkers, and you may create the drama. It can be for different reasons. Looking at the sign that Mars is in can give us clues of what might be going on. For instance, if your Mars is in Scorpio, you may feel like others are doing things behind your back, and that gets you going. So the motivation is to uncover the secrets of your coworkers, people in your work environment, because, sometimes the sign of Scorpio, if it's expressed in an inner planet, can give off this paranoid vibe, but it's really not paranoid if they really are talking about you. There's a saying like that, so it could be something like that. And if it's considered better, it's not as weak if it's in the sign that it's exalted in, which is Capricorn, or if it's in Aries, the sign that it rules. Now, Scorpio is co-ruled by Mars, and they didn't mention Scorpio, so there again, I'm not sure that this interpretation is necessarily on point as some of the other ones have been from this site, and I've been really relying pretty much on this site in particular for these lists that I compile for each of these placements. So because Mars in the 6th house is brave and it's good in a crisis, I could see somebody working some kind of a job where you need to do things in a split-second sort of way. Now, they mentioned careers in the military. I would add law enforcement for obvious reasons, because it is connected to it's almost like being a soldier, but in an urban setting when you are a police officer, or a suburban setting. But there is that sense of danger, having to make, decisions to do certain things very quickly, and that takes guts, because sometimes people second guess themselves, and you have to be able to just do things extremely quickly. And Mars has that sense of always being, ready. Mars is just very active, and I could see it being able to just kind of react instantaneously. But Mars is very independent and, wants to do things their own way. So you may prefer to actually work for yourself, and if you can do so and support yourself, that would probably be the best, the most ideal thing, because then you can call your own shots, and then you won't have that drama with people in the workplace. And I think sometimes, another thing that can happen with this placement is you can be competitive in the workplace. Mars wants to be number one. Aries is ruled by Mars, and it's in the first house of the self, and that's not a coincidence. So if you are working with others and you find that you are competitive with them, it's important to dial it down a notch, because that may contribute to the tensions or the friction in that environment, because others may think that you're trying to show them up, that you're trying to make them look like they're not, good at what they're doing, that they're lazy. And that could be like totally untrue, but it still has its, relative truth, because you might be so, driven that anybody pales in comparison to you. So it's kind of one of those types of deals, but that threatens people. People don't like that sense of like being, feeling like they look bad compared to someone who's like this force of nature. So the other thing too is that when you do get angry, you tend to become aggressive verbally, because this is Virgo's house, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So Virgo, and it's also an earth sign, so it's very, that has nothing to do with what I'm about to say, that's an earth sign, but the fact that it is ruled by Mercury means that some of the aggressive tendencies can come out in that way. And they can be expressed in that way, and especially expressed in the work environment, where you already may have conflict, and that just gives you that sense of, letting off steam in that venue. And the way that I see it with Virgo, because I have the moon in Virgo, is kind of a snarky type of verbal, I don't want to say attack, but that kind of aggressive behavior. So let me see what else. One thing to note is that you could, you have to be careful if your Mars is afflicted. That means if it has a lot of hard angles to it, that you are more at risk for injuries. I think some of this has to do with the rashness of Mars. This doesn't mean that this is going to happen to you, but be mindful of how you do what you do. And typically, like the Virgo energy is very fastidious, very like paying attention to small details. Mars is kind of like the bull in the china closet. So that means that you have to do things in a very methodical way. Now, again, I don't know why the 6th house is connected to this in particular. The body would be the 1st house. So I would think Mars in the 1st house would be more about injuries, but I don't know. And in terms of pets, this is 6th house too. So be careful about pets. Because this can, Mars can be danger, and there could be danger, even if this is something that you think is like a domesticated animal and you think there's not going to be a problem. Just be careful when you're handling pets because of this position if you have an afflicted Mars. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.